All right, sign there.
$326? No, there's something wrong here. My bike's only in here for 600-mile service.
You said you wanted a new gas tank, right? So it's gonna cost $241 plus labor.
Well, no, you got it wrong. The gas tank was scratched when I bought it. Jim, the salesman, told me he could order me a new one.
Well, Jim didn't tell me. Anyway, how do I know you didn't scratch it yourself? Maybe a belt buckle nick?
Well, first you give me the cold shoulder, and now you call me a liar? Get Jim in here and he'll fix it right now.
He's gone. Left about a month ago.
Well, then get your boss.
He's busy. Look, if you want the new gas tank, you're gonna have to pay for it.
I spent all that money on the Shadow, and now I gotta pay to fix your stupid mistake?
Look, how do I know it wasn't fine when you picked it up?
Okay. You're still saying it's my fault. That's it. Fine. Forget it.
Fine.
Behavior like that's costing me customers. I'm glad we weren't busier. Can you imagine if other customers had witnessed that?
Maybe they did. And maybe they walked out. Can you blame them? That customer is probably at work telling his friends about it right now. Joe, I can see it in the composite report. The number of your customer contacts has been going up for the past 4 months.
Ever since Kevin took over as service advisor.
Joe, you got a problem. You've owned this dealership long enough to know when something's going wrong.
Well, I know we have to concentrate more on satisfying our customers, but John, I thought everything was fine. Especially since Kevin became service advisor. You know, he had great promise. He was one of my best technicians.
Well, he was with you the longest.
You know, when Mike left, it made sense to bring Kevin up front.
Does he really know what his job is all about? Does he know that he has your total support? Did you prepare Kevin to work the counter?
I get your point. I guess there are some different skills involved. Yep. Oh, Kevin, come on in. Kevin, you know John Franks?
Yeah, the Honda District Service Manager.
How's it going, Kevin?
Okay, I guess. It's tough sometimes. And every now and then I get a know-it-all customer who thinks he could teach me a thing or two about bikes.
How do you handle them?
I deal with them.
The way you dealt with that last customer? Kevin, I know some people would argue with me, but I think being a service advisor is the toughest job in the dealership.
It's a lot tougher than I thought it would be.
Customers can be a real handful. Took me a long time till I realized that every customer is an individual. You have to customize your approach to each of them. And each customer thinks his problem's the most important.
That's for sure.
The goal of this service department is to make a profit and satisfy customers at the same time.
That means we're not just fixing motorcycles. We also fix customers.
But hey, I mean, if the guy's mad, what can I do?
A lot. But first we need your buy-in. Start with a good attitude and accept that the most important part of your job is keeping the customer happy, like Joe said. Kevin, you know, we're lucky that that guy complained to you. Most angry customers just walk away and never come back. Face to face, you have the opportunity to turn them around and get them back on the road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. But, I mean, all that's tough to consider with the guy's right in your face and the phone's ringing and you got 3 people standing.
Kevin, you're absolutely right. It isn't easy, but there is a technique to deal with angry customers. Let's let Joe get back to work, and I'll see if I can explain.
I'll be here if you need me.
You're always going to encounter angry customers. I know, you're thinking you can't please all the people all the time. But soon you'll be able to identify steps that have been designed to deal effectively with angry customers. Then you'll be able to use those steps to help solve the customer's anger before you work on the bike.
Solve their anger?
Right. You got to get that out of the way first. Basically, it boils down to listening and letting the customer know that you empathize.
What?
Empathize. That means that you understand what the customer is feeling, even though you aren't experiencing those same feelings yourself. Empathizing is important, but it's not the first step.
Well, what are these magical steps?
Well, they're not magical, but they are logical. Take this morning's incident. That guy wasn't happy when he came in. You could tell by his body language. He was showing anger before he even said one word. Do you remember?
I really didn't notice.
Hey, how about a little service here, huh? I'd like to get to work today.
Can't you see I'm busy? I'll be with you as soon as I'm done.
That guy's steamed. Just look at him. And that whole transaction started off with a lousy greeting.
I'm busy.
The greeting is the important first step in dealing with the customer. Whether the customer is angry or not, you need to greet him sincerely and show your concern. Give him your complete attention. You know what will happen if you don't.
Yeah. They'll get my attention anyway by spouting off to someone in line.
So show your concern by responding quickly. Look the customer in the eye and ask if you can help. Sometimes it helps if you come from behind the counter and walk right over to him. We call that positive body language.
All right, sign there, buddy.
$326? Wait a minute, there's something wrong here. My bike's only in here for 600-mile service.
You said you wanted a new gas tank, right? So it's gonna cost $241 plus labor.
Well, no, you got it wrong. The gas tank was scratched when I bought it. Jim, the salesman, told me he could order me a new one.
Well, Jim didn't tell me. Anyway, how do I know you didn't scratch it yourself? Maybe a belt buckle nick?
First you give me the cold shoulder, and now you're calling me a liar? Get Jim in here, and he'll fix it right now.
When a customer's upset, he's going to vent his feelings. And that's good. You want that to happen. So if you know it's going to happen, you need to prepare yourself to handle your own tension while he vents his anger. The way you do that is to shift your mind into neutral.
Sounds pretty strange.
It does, and it works better for some people than for others. But I do know service advisors that use this technique. They shift their minds into neutral by imagining that there's some place where they feel relaxed while they continue to listen to the customer.
Well, like where?
I know one guy who imagines he's riding his XR in the woods. Seriously, he says it works. And that's important, because if you take everything personally, sooner or later it's going to get to you. And it's going to affect how well you like your job. This is a lot of material to cover at once. Why don't we break for lunch?
I have some errands to run anyway.
Hi, may I help you?
Yeah, I'm Kevin Erickson. I'm here for my plane ticket.
Oh, right. Okay, that was departing on the 4th, returning on the 10th, right?
Right.
Okay. Oh, Boulder is so beautiful. Okay. That'll be $497.
497? No way, that can't be right.
Yes, that is the fare.
When I called you 3 weeks ago to make the reservations, you said it was going to be just $257. That's $200 more. What a rip-off. $200. It's going to put a major crimp in my vacation.
Mr. Erickson, let me see what I can do. Did you receive confirmation on your reservation?
I got something in the mail.
On that form, it said that you had 24 hours to lock in that rate.
I didn't see that part. So it's going to cost $200 more? Great. Just great. Suppose you do this all the time. Normal procedure.
Mr. Erickson, I understand that a $200 difference can make or break a vacation. Let me see what I can do to make this happen for you. Oh, I know if this were my vacation, I'd be really upset. This guy's mad, but really not at me. He's more mad at himself for not reading the confirmation letter. Could you go on another day?
I guess so.
Okay, let me check some other airlines, too. He was really nice when he came in to book the reservation. He's not a bad guy. He knows where to spend a nice vacation. Let's see, if you leave a couple of hours later, I can book you on another airline, and that fare's only $298.
I mean, that's better.
Okay, could you leave the next morning? Oh. If you leave at 9, I've got an airfare for only $268, and there's one seat left.
Well, I'll take it. That's great.
Good. Good. Boulder's great. You're going to have a great time.
You know what?
What?
I feel a lot better. I mean, I was really stressing out today, and The last thing I needed was a price hike. I mean, I was really upset a few minutes ago. And you really handled this whole thing well.
Well, that's my job. To me, airfare's more than just a plane ticket. It's your vacation. There you go. Have a great time.
Thanks for all your help.
Sure.
You ready to get back to it?
Yeah, sure. In fact, I had a lesson myself.
Excuse me?
Nothing. I'm just realizing that there might be something to what you're saying.
Well, good. Now let's get back to work. You remember this morning before lunch we were talking about the various steps in handling angry customers.
Sure.
We've already discussed greeting the customer and shifting your mind into neutral. Now let's cover the other steps. Listening to their anger, picking out something good about the customer, thinking positively, and sharing your understanding and acceptance of the customer's feelings. Let's take a look at one of these customer contacts. Do you remember Rick Broner?
Oh, you bet I do. I thought for sure his bike needed a top-end job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a great vacation. I drove for 6 hours to ride my bike for 5 minutes.
We did the top-end job. That should have fixed it.
Well, obviously it didn't because the bike still has the same problem.
Well, maybe you used bad gas. Maybe you screwed it up yourself. How am I supposed to know? What am I, a mind reader?
Look, all I know is that I took my XR out to the woods. I drove for 6 hours.
I rode the bike for 5 minutes, and then it happened again. It just cut out. I had to push the bike back to the trailer. I mean, it ruined my whole vacation.
That guy turned into a maniac, and he thought it was all my fault that it was just a dirty electrical connection. We all make mistakes.
You're right. But misdiagnosing the problem was your smallest mistake. This guy was mad. His vacation was ruined, and you acted like you could have cared less. How would you have handled that today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great vacation. I drove for 6 hours to ride my bike for 5 minutes.
All right, Mr. Broner, what's wrong? How can I help?
Look, you said you were
Great.
positive.
Rather
that
than
was the
engaging in a
problem.
war of
You
words,
said that
let the
bike was
customer
more like
talk.
you. You said that you
Let him
thought
blow
it
off
was
steam.
fine. You checked the whole-
I'd also shift my mind into neutral to keep from getting upset myself. I'd think I was at the beach.
Right. By imagining you're someplace else. That way you can control your own tension while the customer is releasing his. Another way to help you deal with an angry customer is to pick out something positive about that customer. Look for something that appeals to you, like their jacket.
Now that sounds stupid.
It just helps you set a positive tone in your mind. Give it a try. It doesn't have to be their jacket. It can be their bike or whatever.
Yeah, but that guy was really angry. I mean, I would have felt bad, but the way he yelled at me, all I could do was yell back.
That's the worst thing you could have done. What you should have done is tell yourself that the customer is causing the anger, not you. We call that alternative self-talk. That means that you remind yourself that you're probably not responsible for their upset, so you shouldn't feel defensive.
All right, well, I'm getting a little confused here. The customer's mad at me, but I'm not the reason he's upset. So I shift my mind into neutral. And, well, I mean, all this sounds great, but really calming somebody down is a different story.
Dealing with angry customers takes a lot of thought and practice. It takes time to get the techniques right so that you feel comfortable with them. But when you do, your job will be a lot easier. There are a couple more steps in handling an angry customer. Instead of being defensive with the customer, ask questions that encourage them to get their feelings out. When you get emotions out of the way, you can get on with solving the problem.
Yeah, it's easy to see what you should have done. So, Mr. Broner, it ran for 5 minutes before it cut out.
Yeah.
And what did it sound like?
Well, plump, 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 bang.
And did you try it again later?
Same thing.
So the bike's just warming up when it cuts out.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. Now, finally, you have to share your understanding of the customer's feelings. Let them know you care. Say you're sorry. Remember empathy? They need to know that you can relate to what they're going through.
Mr. Broner, I know you're upset, and you have good reason to be. I mean, we should have fixed your bike. I'm sorry. I thought we had the problem taken care of. Can you leave it today?
Yeah, sure.
You have to let the customer know you've heard what they've said and that you understand why they're upset. After you do that, most customers will work with you to help solve the problem. Kevin, you're right on track now. And to reinforce what we've been talking about, I'd like to enroll you in an STS class.
What's that?
Service Transaction Skills. It's a Honda class for service advisors just like you. The class gives you more training in handling angry customers. Most people get a lot out of it, and you learn a lot from each other. What do you say?
It's all right with Joe.
Great. And I see your number of customer contacts has gone down. By the way, how's Kevin working out?
Really well. I'm pleased with his improvement.
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm here for my bike and the cashier says it's not ready. I don't get it. On Tuesday, the other service guy, he tells me it's going to be ready before noon today. Now she tells me it's not ready.
I'm sorry. I understand why you're upset. Let me see if I can find out what's going on. Is that your copy of the repair order?
Yeah.
He's just really anxious. GL customers just love to ride. 1990 GL. Nice bike. You going on a trip?
If I can get out of here. Me and the guys are going to Road Atlanta in the morning. Now, don't tell me I'm going to lose a day. We'll be late for the races.
Oh, no. Can't be late. That's a great race. Hang on just a sec. Well, I found the problem, sir. And honestly, looks like we dropped the ball. We never ordered your starter motor. But I got it cleared to pull one off a new bike. So we'll have you on the road in about an hour. Does that sound good?
Great.
There's coffee right over there. Make yourself at home.
Thanks.
Not bad, Kevin.
What? Oh, John.
What's your secret?
Oh, no secret. It just starts with a positive greeting. Then I listen and shift my mind into neutral. And I share my understanding of the customer's problem.
Sounds good.
And I also let them know that I understand what they're going through. So what are you doing here today?
Oh, I'm just calling on all my dealers who are up for the Honda Care Award.
Do we qualify?
You do now. Your customer contacts have disappeared. So did the class help?
Oh, yeah. I really learned a lot. I liked swapping ideas with the other service advisors.
Well, I think you've acquired some important skills. Looks like this place is back on track. I know Joe's happier.
He's not the only one.